This is Andrew Twidwell, owner of ABT Plumbing, Electric, Heat, and Air. With the show You Got This, the show of DIY do's and don'ts. Our subject today is getting ready for the cooler weather, and one of the subjects that Rosalie found was gutter fixes, and that's this time of year, because we were looking at possibly getting rain here, and I'm not sure if that's still on the forecast. I don't think it is any longer, but it's something you definitely want to get ready for. And one of the main things that you do, and if you haven't already, because I know it's still technically fire season here, is clean out those gutters, because they can be a fire hazard when they're filled with leaves and pine needles. Clean that roof. And they had a couple interesting. I like this one, the gutter cleaner using an old plastic spatula. That was really smart, because if you can get up in there and really scoop it out and really get it clean, it's a cheap way of getting those suckers clean. I know I go through it every year because I don't have gutter toppers. I know all new homes have to have gutter toppers now in Nevada County because of the fire hazards. So, but a lot of homes obviously don't have them. If you don't have them, it's one thing to think about. I know the last two homes I've had have had it. I really miss them.
Can I just put it on pause and ask you to go to my very favorite one, and it's near the top of that list if I recall what I sent you. It's good to see you committed them to memory. I'm literally watching you read through it, so it's kind of funny to me. Like, did you open the email? No. Okay.
I opened and looked at it. So yeah.
Okay.
I scan though, but that's one of my issues. I'm definitely a scanner.
Okay, I didn't mean to call you out on that. There's other stuff I'm going to make fun of you for. But listen, my favorite is the, it's right near the top. It's the dripping, the incessant dripping. Like, that used to drive me crazy. Like the first like rain of the season, if you get enough rain and water that you're hearing the drip at first, it's kind of like, oh wow, like seasons are changing and the sounds of nature. And then by day 2 of like a rainstorm, that sound is like the constant soundtrack in your head. So I really liked their solution to this.
The Chinese water torture, right?
Yes.
The water torture thing that just drip, 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 especially on the slow rainy days. Whoa, yeah. So yeah, this is a good one. They got it by just attaching a rope to one of the fasteners up above and running the rope down the downspout. And yeah, that will definitely work, because the water will hold onto the rope through surface tension, and you can pretty much eliminate that annoying drip, 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 drip sound.
Got it. It's annoying already.
The other way you can do it, which is kind of nice, I did this on our cottage here. We actually took out the downspouts and just attached chains, and found an old rusty chain at Restore that was kind of cool looking, and cut it and bolted it to the fascia board and ran it straight down. And so now we don't even have downspouts on the cottage, so I don't have to worry about those getting clogged up during the winter time. But those are some great ways to solve that annoying dripping sound. And it's totally simple. And I think we'll have a couple pictures of this so you can kind of see it. But basically it's just, there's a couple ways of doing it. How do they say? Adding a rope restricts the water flow, so blah, blah, blah. But yeah, sometimes it can be a little difficult to get the rope through the bends on the downspout, especially if you have some 90s in there, some 90-degree elbows. But one way you can solve that is a real quick, easy way. We use this in electrical and stuff, and when we're trying to fish wires through. If you've got a straight down or even a couple 90s, if you take, I just get a washer or a heavy nut or something like that and some fishing line, and just drop it down there with some force, it'll work all the way down to the bottom of the downspout. Tie the rope to the end of the fishing line and pull it up through, because that can be a little bit of a problem if you're just trying to push the rope through, if you've got some fittings in there that will restrict it. But that's one way of literally fishing the line through there. So that's a great one. Yeah, well done, Mrs. Rosalie. A couple other ones, obviously, fix the loose gutters. They're brackets. There's a couple of different ways these things are attached, depending on the manufacturer. Some come with clips that actually literally bolt into the fascia board and just clip onto the gutter itself. There are others that have a ferrule, a large tube, if you will, that you run a screw or a nail straight through into the fascia board. So see what you've got and go to the hardware store. Take some, the wonders of technology these days. Take some pictures before you go to the hardware store. Take a tape measure so you have some dimensions. Take a picture of that. I found that a huge help for me to remember lengths and sizes and things like that. Is simply take a picture of the tape measure. Don't just write it down. Take a picture of the tape measure. Especially sometimes you run into situations where is it the outside dimension that I need or the inside dimension? And in plumbing, we typically go by the inside, but on some fittings, we go by the outside. So if you take a picture of it, the person that helps you that's actually selling the product, they'll know which dimension you to go with. So they'll be able to direct you in the right way. And if you just simply wrote down 4" and actually the outside dimension is what they're looking for, and it's 4 1/4 or 4.5, you're going to get the wrong piece. So take a picture of it and it'll really help you a lot. And then go get the appropriate fittings. And then there's I actually had to do this in my house. The water gets behind the gutter. That was a big issue in our cottage as well. And we've got these houses that I live in were built in the 30s and added on, and they're kind of hodgepodge and Winchester mystery house kind of thing, where I have different stem walls and different roof angles and stuff, and some things are done really well and some things not so well.
I'm sure that those are fully permitted too. I mean, it's all to
Oh,
code.
yeah. Grass Valley in the 30s, up until like when I moved here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, even when I moved here 20 years ago, site plans were still being done on napkins. They're a little bit more particular about that these days. But I was having some issues with the gutter was mounted below the actual flashing. So I had to get in there and buy some flashing and stick some flashing behind it to kind of lap it so that it goes into the gutter. And we got a great picture of that. We'll share that online as well. And it's just simply, the interesting thing with gutters and roofs and things like that, they are not waterproof. All we're trying to do is direct the water in the right direction. So if you've got a section where that's open at the top, you want to get something on top of that that laps it so the water rolls on the outside of it, just like a roofing shingle. So if you can think of that, kind of visualize that in your mind's eye, that'll help solve a lot of those issues, or help you figure that one out. The other one, make repairs with slip joints. This is something that I haven't actually done, but they're out there. I've seen them in the store and I know exactly what they are. It's just a coupling, but all it is a piece of sheet metal bent to the shape of your gutter. And again, if you've got a leak where a gutter is either split or has come apart, take a picture of it. With the tape measure, and you can kind of see what sizes it is. You want to get the bottom, the side, and the top, and they'll have the fitting that you can actually, all it is really to attach them is caulking. So it's something a homeowner can do as long as it's not too high. And I say that because I've had some friends I had one friend that fell off a ladder and took him out for quite some time, but he was about 2.5 stories up and in his 50s. So yeah, broken hip in your 50s is not good. But these things are really simple. It's simply, they snap on and the caulking's what makes the joint. This one is another good one. The water actually leaks over the top, and sometimes you'll see this in the valley where you have two roof lines meeting each other, and so you have all this water that's being channeled into one direction. And on a heavy rain, it could literally just jump over the gutter. And they simply take a piece of flashing and bend it appropriately and screw it down so it's worked as a dam to stop the water from rolling over it, so it drops into the gutter. Really simple, really a simple solution. And this one, actually, the picture shows that the gutter is actually mounted a little low. Typically, you won't find gutters that are mounted 3 inches below the roof line. They'll be closer to the top. But Nevada County, you never know. I've seen some really wonky stuff out there. So that may be an issue that you're running into, where you've got water just pouring over your gutter during the wintertime when you've got a heavy rain. And that's a simple solution, just putting some sheet metal up. One thing I do recommend, if you are getting sheet metal, get the aluminum flashing. It doesn't oxidize, which is great, so it won't rust. The other thing is it's really easy to work with because it's just aluminum. It's a little thicker than aluminum can, And so you can bend it with your bare hands. You don't need any special tools or anything. To get a right angle, though, you may want to use a clamp or some kind of tool. I've got brakes from hand brakes that actually bend sheet metal, but you can use a lot of different things. You just need a straight edge. I've also used just a piece of wood and a hammer to lap it over, or a table to lap it over and get a nice angle. But with aluminum, it's really simple, really easy. If you got a nice angular table, right angle, really sharp edge, you can literally just take that stuff, put it on top of the table and push it down with your hand, and you'll get a nice crisp edge with the sheet metal. And the reason why you want a nice crisp edge is because that actually adds some stability to the material, so it won't just fold in on itself. It makes it a lot more rigid. So bends are good. This one I like, and I'm just going to go all the way down to the bottom, because this one I see often, and a lot of people don't always think about it, is just these coiling plastic bottoms to your gutter, to your downspouts. One of the problems with downspouts, a lot of times you'll see this in a lot of homes up here, I see all the time, where the downspout just drops right on the ground on the perimeter of the house.
Yeah.
You really don't want that. You want to get that water away from your house, as far away as you possibly can. And they make you can either use a tube, a corrugated piece of pipe. I've got that on a couple of my downspouts, or actually I did until we put a drain underground, put a French drain in. But either that, or they make these really cool ones that are just socks. It's literally just a sheet of plastic that coils up on itself, or a sheet of plastic that just stays out there during the winter time. The coiled up one's nice because the water pressure will literally push it open, so it'll coil up so you can mow your lawn or whatever happens to be over there, and it's a lot tidier, a lot cleaner. But yeah, you do everything, and water mitigation is a huge issue, especially in our area, especially if your downspouts dropping onto the top side of your house. Like a lot of times we live, we're a hilly area, and the water finds the path of least resistance. And if that downspout's dropping the water at the top of the hill and your house goes down the hill, it has a potential for going into your crawl space, or going into your basement, or going into your lower living area, depending on how the house was structured, and depending on when it was built. Because if it was built 40 years ago, we weren't doing such a great job of diverting water away from our foundations. We've gotten a lot better, and we've got a lot of really cool products out there to divert water away from slab, or from our foundations now. But back then we didn't really do much. We just put gravel in it, and we didn't really put any waterproofing or anything like that. So get that water away from your house as best as you can. We got time for this one. Gutter spout stoppages. Since I am a plumber and by trade, this is something I deal with all the time in my own house, because I live underneath pine and oak trees. I live in town, so I've got, it's a mixed forest, so I got all kinds of stuff up on my roof and in my gutters, and every year I got to deal with it. You can't just use a regular hand snake for these. It's not that, because it's just material. It's not going to be gook. It's not going to be sludge. It's literally just going to be decomposing leaves. So you can run the cable up the downspout from the bottom. You don't even have to get up on the ladder for this thing. The other thing you can do is just run a hose up in there. I know I ended up purchasing a hose with a device that's got a bendable top, and it kind of shoots water, and I hook up a hose to it, and I can shoot water into my gutter, and helps clean it, but it also cleans my downspout. And pretty much every year, even after I clean it, that first rain knocks whatever else is up on the roof, drops into the gutters, clogs my downspouts, and I have to go through and clean them out. But a handy little cheap snake that you get at B&C or Hills Flat, they're like 20 or 30 bucks, and they'll take care of the problem. But yeah, it's that time of year. Start getting your gutters ready, clean them out, check them, see if you got any issues. And also, it's really nice to do it this time of year and not doing it when it's raining and 40 degrees out or 30 degrees out, because that can be really miserable. So, and also dangerous if you got to get up on a ladder. Yeah, don't get up on a ladder if it's raining, by the way, please. And with that, I think we're pretty close to what we wanted to talk about. So once again, please help support us with the Barbara Schmidt-Millar program that we're doing this month. And maybe you can help me with this, Rosalie, because I'm already slipping on my words.
Oh, you sure are. Okay, so while I finish this up, go have some more coffee or whatever that beverage is.
Water.
If you need service or help at home, you can give ABT a call at 530-272-9120. You can also find us on the internet, easyasabt.com. Every show that we've done since we started in 2018 is actually on there. And I'm in the process of making that easier to navigate, where actually instead of it just being displayed by the date, we're going to have some sort of organization. So if you are curious or interested in a specific topic that we've covered, we're going to make it a little bit easier to find. Not that I think you don't know what you're doing already, but the whole point of this is some of it is obviously plumbing related, electrical related, and HVAC related,
gutter related.
Yeah, but we've also done some cool stuff on like how to upcycle materials, how to build backyard. I'm not saying we like did a video that showed you how to do it, but we've talked about all those topics. So there's some good information stored there. You can also find us on Facebook, Easy as ABT. ABT Plumbing, Electric, Heat and Air. It's a really long one, but you can find us on Facebook. And also there is a page for You Got This, which is where we share our shows that air every Friday at 9 a.m. on KNCO. And you're also able to listen to them online.
And you can see us on video now too. We've got, this is going to be our second
really
or third video.
Yeah, that's really the cherry on the top of the sundae. I mean, let's be honest.
We've had like 20 people watch it so far. So, hey, it's happening.
I think
we're YouTube stars.
I think my two were my family because they don't live near me, so they were like, "Oh, look at you and your COVID hair, yay!" So I don't know that we're going to break YouTube, but just another way to kind of bring something to you and get some value. Hopefully, if you have any questions or anything you'd like us to cover, you can reach us on Facebook and leave a message or a comment on one of our posts, and we'd be happy to cover that topic. Or if you see Andrew out and about in the community, let him know what you think.
Awesome. Thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you guys next week. Bye-bye.